Well, we're here with six-time Wimbledon champion, Roger Federer, through fairly easily into the second round, although it was a little bit windy out there. Just take us through how your first match was here today.
Yeah, gusty winds was tough conditions. I think it's never easy to coming out and playing your first match again here at Wimbledon, because we don't get a chance to practice on center court, and I think that just makes it somewhat tricky. Look, I think I felt it for probably a set. I couldn't get a read on his serve. He was doing well, he was playing aggressive and making it hard for me to really, get my teeth into the match, but I think I served well myself. Also didn't give him much there, and that's why I think I could stay really calm and just hopefully wait for my chance, which finally came in the second set.
We haven't seen you since your tremendous match at the French Open, ending Novak Djokovic's 43-match winning streak dating back to last season. How much confidence did that victory give you?
Well, I mean, I knew I was playing well, but sure, it's always nice to get proof really on a center court and on the biggest stages against one of the great players who's on a great run. So it was nice obviously to stop his streak, but for me it was more important trying to give myself another chance to win the French Open, which unfortunately I wasn't able to do, but I think I played well for 7 matches really, and that's a nice thing for me to know I can do that. I played well through the clay season, but I had a bit of ups and downs. But overall, I've had a good season so far, and I hope I'm peaking here at Wimbledon again.
I thought that was one of the best matches I've seen you play on clay. In the first set, especially that inside-out forehand of yours, you're just whipping that forehand and getting some great first serves in. Obviously, to win this title, everything has to be in place and everything has to be working. But what are 1 or 2 things that you really focus on?
Well, I think the serve is obviously something every player can control. It's the only shot in the game we can control. The other things we have to react to. So I'm serving well, which has been the case already sort of since Paris. I even served well in Madrid at times, and I think I'm just becoming more and more consistent. So that's a great thing, and I think I'm not panicking on the return, even though today for a set, I didn't put in enough returns, but I know it's right there. And at the French Open, I think that was one of my big strengths. I think I was returning well, making a lot of returns, but then also able to mix it up. And then I think my movement and my footwork is doing well, and I think on grass I'm always able to do that very naturally, and I think that gives me then usually an edge over my opponents.
Let's go back 12 months. First round here against Alejandro Fire. Down a couple of sets.
We have to.
We thought you were out of here in the first round. But you mentioned the footwork, you mentioned the movement. It looked to be spot on today, and it has been spot on for quite a while. Is that the big difference from this time last year to what we are now?
Well, maybe, yeah. I just think the confidence level is just a bit higher. I think last year I struggled through this sort of period from the Australian Open all the way through to Madrid, which just not enough match play. And I just think once I was able to play really well actually in Madrid, I got into Paris, maybe it was just not enough information, and I started on a passive note. I started to chip a few too many, and maybe not believing in my forehand down the line enough, and just all these little things make then a huge difference all of a sudden. And I think that kind of carried all the way from the French to Wimbledon. And then I was able to practice really well in Switzerland after Wimbledon, and I think that kind of then gave me the belief again I have to go for my shots more, which I was able to do.
And even a great player like yourself needs a great team behind you, and you do come into this Wimbledon with Paul Annacone, who is by Pete Sampras's side. You're looking to match Sampras's all-time record here, along with William Renshaw, of 7 Wimbledon titles. What sort of difference or what sort of input has he had into your game?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time at Wimbledon together. So far, it's been pretty straightforward. I mean, he doesn't need to teach me how to play on grass, but he can still give me some vital
My point exactly.
But he can give me some vital input. I think today was pretty straightforward. I played against an opponent who has a good first serve,
and
not the best second. Yeah, exactly. He did play well, and then he used his strength as well. I think aggressive from the baseline, a bit more of a shaky forehand. So it was pretty straightforward for me. But maybe as the tournament goes on, this is when maybe Paul, and Severin also come more into play. They can give me more advice on how I should attack the matches, and I think we did really well at the French altogether, and I'm excited what's to come here.
You're such you appreciate history so much.
And I was just going to ask you, you played 10 to 12 solid years without much of a break. You haven't been injured like the Williams sisters. You haven't been in and out. But you honestly, how can you, week in and week out, isn't it getting tougher to, get psyched up for a match? I mean, don't you ever wake up in the morning?
A lot of similarities here.
No, because you know what, I felt that way at the end of my career, and that's why I decided to retire, because I would feel like once in a while I don't want to get out of bed.
I don't know how you were in the beginning. For me, the beginning of my career was tough. This is where I would struggle to get up in the morning and go to practice. Okay. So I guess I learned from those moments to say, you know what, I don't want to go through those times anymore. I want to be motivated. And when I do set a practice time at 10 in the morning, I will be there at 10, and I will be working for the 3 hours we committed for. I'm not just going to then say, yeah, today, all right, you know, I'd rather do something different. If I'm doing that, it's because I'm tired or I'm slightly injured, all these little things, just to be smart. But honestly, today I have no motivation problems, and that's why I'm happy that I've played so many years from January to November. I didn't ever miss an American tourney, or I've never missed an Asian swing really completely, or I didn't miss, you know, the World Tour finals at the end of the year. I've always played from start to finish, and I've been lucky for sure with some injuries, but also I think smart along the way.
And how lucky are we to listen in on a conversation between two Wimbledon champions and two of the great talents in the history of the sport. That's pretty cool stuff, Darren. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed it.
No, absolutely.
He's my, you know that, you're my idol.
I got to tell you, this is kind of, do you know that Chrissy actually cries when you lose?
I do, I do. You know that. I tell Gavin to tell you.
Okay.
I'm sort of borderline stalker a little bit.
All right, we hope we didn't scare you away. We'll see you back.
I'll come back.